Well, Mr. Clifton, I have been playing this game since the very beginning. Since I still have the beta for Overwatch 1 on my Xbox 360.
Sure.
This is console, by the way.
Sure.
Um, I played just for fun for most of the time, and then I don't know. I started watching. It was actually like Pickety,
Yep.
Jane.
I remember
They
Tickety,
got
yeah,
me.
Jane.
They got me thinking of looking at the game in a different way. So I decided to actually start taking it seriously. Start like putting uh, thoughtful practice into play,
Sure.
and I found myself climbing from like gold to currently at diamond three.
That's incredible. Well done.
But I know I'm not perfect, but I know I can get better.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Now, you've been playing for a long time. What does your hero pool, like role preference, look like over time? When you filled out the form, you said Juna Moira, maybe a little bit of Brig. Um, what is that looking like now?
I have 1,500 hours on Wrecking Ball,
Okay.
but that's all. But it's all from Overwatch One. It's all from Overwatch One.
Okay. Yeah. Fair.
I mostly play Moira and Juno right now. If I get a little tired because obviously I feel like I can get a little baked sometimes off of playing the same characters over and over again. I'll play Life Weaver. I'll play Brig. I play none of the good supports. Okay,
Sure.
I even play a little Iliard,
Yeah. Okay.
but I generally just play Moira and Juno right now.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Why those characters? What specifically kind of appeals to you, or what about them appeals to you?
Okay, I didn't choose Moira. She chose me. All right. I play Moira because I've been playing since 2017, and she was the
Hmm.
first support that I could actually put out some pretty significant DPS.
Sure.
And just never really dropped her. I would play Moira. My friend would play Mercy. It was a wonderful time in Ghosts.
Hmm.
Uh, and Juno, I kind of wanted to prove to myself that I could play an aim intensive character,
Hmm.
uh, one that required a little bit more thoughtfulness and planning. And I feel like I'm pretty good with her.
Sure.
I'd like to focus more on my Moira today because it is my primary hero, and I feel like
Yep.
I'd be not taking advantage of an opportunity if I were to look at
Yeah.
some gameplay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. We can look at some Moira then. So Diamond, a little bit of Juno, a little bit of Moira. What is your breakdown of playtime between those two characters, and then when do you find yourself preferring Moira versus preferring Juno?
Let's see. I generally hmm, I play Moira on stretches. I would say I average probably about 4 hours a day.
Yep.
When I get off of work, I come and I play a lot. Weekends, I play even more.
Sure.
Uh, I would say it's like I can go 2 or 3 weeks of playing exclusively Moira, and then when somebody picks Moira, obviously I'll play Juno, and then I'll start getting the itch where it's like I need a
Yeah.
break.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. But like overall, you do when you do play a character, you get plenty of time to practice whatever you want to do on that character. Then, so that's good.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
So kind of more in streaks. And I saw it in your form, and then you talked about it here as well. Well, you get a lot of hours in. So when you talk about goals, long-term grandmaster, in terms of playtime alone, just from that in isolation, you have more than enough hours to reach your end goals. Now, it's
Understood.
really interesting here because your short-term goal is something that I kind of wanted to talk about and ask you about, which was your short-term goal is actually to tighten your game up. Now,
Yeah.
I assume that you're talking more in game, and we're going to talk a great deal about that. But if you've seen any of my other coaching stuff, there is a lot of like kind of how you're approaching the game questions as well, like the efficiency of your time, making sure
Yep.
that you're
Yep.
going in
Yep.
with the
Yep.
right amount of rest and do the consistency. So one of the big ones is playtime. One of the big ones is hero pool. But those are not a problem for you in terms of like tightening your game up, so to speak. And to be frank, I don't think warm up is necessarily a priority when you're playing Moira Juno either. So you've got all those boxes checked. The challenge that I have, that the problems or the red flags that I might see here are maybe how much you're playing without breaks, the intensity with which you're playing, having goals with your playing, and then finally here, your sleep as well, right? So
Oh,
yeah, I mean, I know that's probably, that's a can of worms there for you. But I think like one thing that I'd encourage you to do here, and we could talk about if you'd like, is kind of evaluating not just the play time, but the play quality and asking yourself, like, what can I do to actually improve the quality of time that I'm spending in? Because you've got so many hours in this game, right? And you are very good at it. Like, Diamond 3 is, that's not, that's nothing to be ashamed of. Like, that's really good. You're top 10, top 9% of players in the game right now. But if you're gaming for the top 1%, there are going to have to be some adjustments to how you're playing, not just how much you're playing. If that
yeah.
makes sense.
I have viewed some of your content, and
Sure.
I over the last couple of months I've started putting the whole getting up and walking during matches. Like I'll get up
Yep.
sometimes and I'll just walk in close. I'll do jumping jacks, stuff like that, and that has actually helped. It has
All right.
actually helped 100%. Uh, the sleep is an issue, I will say. I work
Sure.
12-hour shifts,
Yep.
uh, generally only 4 days a week, but I still work 12-hour shifts. And when I get
Yep.
off of work, like, I crave the mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I have to get
I
on
get
there.
that. I get that. Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah. And I don't
It's
think you
like,
should try to change that necessarily. I guess it would be more along the lines of like what sort of cues keep you playing longer than you ought to, right? Because if you're talking 12-hour shifts and then you're aiming for 2 to 3 hours of Overwatch or 3 to 4 hours of Overwatch, you could probably squeeze that in and still get 6 or 7 hours of sleep. So like what starts to encroach when you're getting fewer than five? I don't know like what your daily structure looks like or when that happens. What are the circumstances surrounding it? But that's kind of like where I would unironically put more of my attention on than probably anything else that we talk about today. When you get fewer than 5 hours of sleep, what led up to that? How can you prevent that from happening in the future, at least as often?
okay,
Because I've had to do the same, right? Like for me, there's two cues for when I stay up too late playing Overwatch, right? One is social. So like if my friends are playing, I'm at a very high risk of staying up too late. And the second one is if I start playing at like 11 or 12, right? Like it's guaranteed I'm going to be staying up late. So it's like I won't say I never do that, but I've significantly cut down on that being a problem. And I also play very casually when I'm playing late as well. I very rarely play late competitively. So maybe that's something else to look at
uh,
as well.
I would say I play casually primarily to the point where this is honesty. All right, this is honesty.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
I probably have like 5,000 hours in quick play,
Yeah, I mean
and maybe
that's a lot of hours, but I mean I have a lot of hours in quick play as well. I mean I'm looking at I have okay,
but
so I don't have 5,000 hours, but I do have double the amount of hours of quick play than I have in ranked personally. So
okay.
yeah,
I probably have 700, maybe 800 hours in ranked, and that's over the
sure.
entirety of Overwatch.
Yeah, sure.
So
So like it sounds like you're getting a lot of hours, but not a lot of serious hours,
yeah,
which in a way is like, I mean, it is realistic given how little sleep that you're getting and how much that you're just kind of playing. But obviously, like what we have to do is we have to try to find a way to improve your competitive integrity by how you're playing, and then shift your playtime into more competitively accordingly. But I don't think
basically,
it should. Yeah, and I don't think it should be significant. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that it should be like you should always play competitive, never play quick play. What it might be is that on every day you come back from work, your first two games, just like your first two games are in competitive. Then after that, it's quick play, right? Um, it could be days where you're like better rested. You get maybe an hour or two. Maybe on weekends you're getting an hour or two of ranked. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Like these are kind of the guidelines, the specific steps that you need to step out, not me. But I am going to encourage you to do some reflection about like I encourage you not to only play competitive. I encourage you to not make any drastic changes, but to make adjustments to both your sleep schedule and your competitive quick play breakdown so that you have slightly better practice. My job will be to help you come up with some goals that you can practice while you're in competitive. But I can't tell you exactly what your structure schedule will be like because I don't know what's reasonable for you.
true. I find that it's just hard for me to truly dedicate like the cognitive
Yes.
ability needed to
Yes.
play
Yes.
ranked when I first get off of work.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
wise. That's actually very wise, and I wish more people did that. But what I would
Yeah.
encourage you to
Correct.
do is I would see
Mhm.
what gas is in the tank. Don't lie to yourself
Uh,
like my dad used to do and be like, "Oh, we're on empty. It's fine. We got 50 miles." You know what I'm saying? Like, but maybe there's five. You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's one game in there, right? And maybe there's
okay.
not. Maybe there's not. Maybe there truly isn't. But then on the weekends when you have more cognitive ability, are you still basically just doing quick play? You know? And then again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it is at odds with your goals, right? So you either need to adjust your goals or you need to adjust your process.
Okay. That's
So,
fair.
nothing black and white or nothing drastic either, because it may be that if you make those adjustments, it may not be all that fun. So you need to kind of test the waters, so to speak, and see if it fits what you really want to do. Because I've had a lot of people in here, especially young folks, they come in here and they're like, I'm going to be Grandmaster. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be grinding 4.5 hours per day. I'm like, okay. I'm like, what rank are you? Oh, I'm silver. Okay, well, how much Overwatch have you played in the last month? Oh, well, I've been kind of taking a break. I played an hour or two last week. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you're telling me that this is what you want, and yet it's like some big like emotional commitment, but obviously like that's not realistic, right? So you kind of have to do the same thing. You got to look at like what you're doing and be like, is me reaching this goal, this level realistic? Do I want that? But again, that's kind of something that you probably would need to put some time and thought into.
I hear it's not fun at the top. It's not fun being one of the best players.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, let's put it this way: it's not fun at the top if you put the priority on being at the top. You know what I'm saying? So if your entire goal was to reach something just for the sake of reaching it and not because you enjoyed it, then yes, it can be a chore. But I know a lot of people that grinded their way to Grandmaster because they just really, really liked playing the game competitively, and it was fun. In fact, game quality tends to improve slightly the higher rank that you go.
Definitely,
It's just
definitely.
not fun if you're forcing it because you said that you would. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you hate the process, then yeah, it's going to be freaking terrible. So,
Okay, okay,
but
all right.
anyway, kind of something to consider more. I mean, there's no specific guidelines. I think it depends on the person. But do you have any other questions here? That's about all I saw from your form.
I do have one question. What
Yeah.
what's Philo? What is that?
Oh, okay. So I
What is music
don't
to
know where it came from. It was something that I named my Bionicle when I was like 9 years old, like 20 something years ago, and it just became the name that I use for every like gaming or account or personal whatever fill in the blank thing. Um, and so it's just been since there. So I don't know where it came from. I don't know what it was inspired from. I have suspicions that it was like that game Spyro. There's some dragon game. I never played it as a kid, but I was aware of it. So I don't know if I just liked the way it sounded and I put my own twist on it. No idea.
You got a little bit of a list or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No
Yeah,
idea.
you're welcome YouTube. You're welcome YouTube for that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Go
I
for it.
have some codes available if you want to take a look at them.
Yeah. Let's do
I
it.
don't. All right.
So you said priority on Moira here for today because that's probably your priority hero.
Hello.
Yep. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. I tried to join the stream
Oh,
or watch the stream.
did it bug out for a second?
It's switched me out of voice.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I know that console screen share can be a pain in the cheek, so I'm not sure if there's something going wrong with
Um,
it.
no, I'm on my PC actually.
Okay.
I play Overwatch on PC a little bit too, but I'm not nearly. I can't mouse and
Yeah.
keyboard.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
I will say if you ever do decide to make the transition, I've coached probably a couple hundred people that went from console to PC, and they all did very well. The mechanical transition is not quite as hard as you think. It is hard. It'll take you some weeks, but it's not like you are not starting from scratch at all.
okay. Uh, How do I bring up your screen?
So if you're on PC and you can't see anything, so at the very top of the Discord call, you'll see like my face or whatever, like my profile picture, like in there, the very top there. Click around there, and there might be a couple different windows, and you might be able to see the stream. If you don't see it, let me know, and I'll restart the call. We can go from there.
Okay. I think I might just have to do it on my phone.
Yeah, that's fine. No problem. I've done a lot of calls on phone. Shouldn't be a problem.
It's fine. It's convenient enough.
Yep.
All right. I am ready. The code is XA.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Should I tell you?
No.
322A.
322A. XA322A. Okay. So this is Diamond. This is Moira. Subrvasa.
Okay, so I guess the issue I had with this game is that I couldn't really find opportunities to. I like the hard flank.
Yep.
I couldn't find opportunities to do it as consistently as I wanted to.
Yeah.
We did end up winning, but it was a longer game.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah,
It was more of a
yeah, I mean, this one was more of a strategical problem for you, right? Is kind of why you use this code or want to use this code.
Yeah, I just kind of want to know, like, if I was missing any openings
Sure.
where I could have maybe secured kills, just anything possible. Like, I'm just looking
Yep.
for insight because
Mm-hmm.
I'm way too cocky when it comes to this game.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah. I mean, you've been around a long time.
I feel like I can walk between raindrops. I feel like I'm a deity. I talk crap in chat constantly.
Yeah.
I'm an Anunnaki.
Yeah,
I'm
I got you.
different.
I got you. A lot of Moira mains I've worked with are very, very confident, especially when they get in higher ranks. You know, there's just that you have to role play a little bit like her. Yeah. I mean, it's it's the angling, it's the flanking, it's the harassment, it's the distraction, it's pocketing DPS or pocketing tanks sometimes. Do you have a philosophy of when do you pocket? Play main versus when do you flank? Do you have any like strategy with that, or is it just kind of come and go?
If we secure kills early, I'll usually try to look for an angle to secure second. If
Sure.
it's a war of attrition where both teams are kind of jockeying for position, I'll usually stay with the team is until they're at least they can like solidify an anchor point.
Sure. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so I tend to stay with the team early, depending on who we're playing. If we're playing
Sure.
poke, then I might go off and flank more. If we're playing like a Genji, then I might stay with the team a little bit longer.
Sure.
It kind of depends.
Okay. My strategy, and I've worked with a couple of DPS Moiras.
Mhm.
I say DPS Moira. What I mean is that a Moira that like just commits to flanks priority. If they have somebody that's with them, a Mei or a Sojourn or somebody going with them or a dive tank, they will obviously heal that person, but they put priority on their position first. And they're great. They were top 500. I've worked with the top 100. I even worked with the top 10 Moira. And a lot of it really comes down to what do I like about these angles and flanks. Priority is always on angle and flank because you talk about a character that has very, very limited utility. And the vast majority of her utility is around her survivability and exclusively her survivability, whether that's through her healing, self-healing, or her mobility, right? And she has a lot of it. So you look at that, and you don't have Kiriko's damage, you don't have Kiriko's Suzu, you don't have the range with her poke, you just have to get a little bit dirtier with how you fight. So with Moira, the one thing that she does have is a lot of burst healing, but that's only useful in specific circumstances. If you guys are trying to break a choke, having a lot of burst healing, like all of your healing resource, heal orb, whatever, can be useful. Sometimes in those circumstances, that's when I'll stack with my team briefly. You understand? If I happen to be near somebody, a tank or whatever, that's getting torched, that's where burst healing is useful. The extended healing and sustained output of Moira is very weak. So if I'm breaking a choke, a lot of damage, I will stay with the tank. But otherwise than that, I'm taking an angle. Pretty much exclusively. Now, how you take that angle and how you play it is really important. So, for example, here, you may or may not be on the angle with your Sojourn. You may or may not be on an angle with your Winston, but you need to be on an angle because your team is not at a lack of healing right now. And if you compare things right now, if we say Bap and Lifeweaver are the same hero, they're obviously not, but let's just pretend. Let's compare you and Mercy. Who's contributing more neutral pressure? By neutral pressure, I mean threat, damage onto the enemy team. It's Mercy easily, right? It's because whatever little tickling you're doing with Damage Orb, she's more than compensating with the damage boost that she's putting out in that Cassidy, right? And it's also not just trash damage. You see, that's the problem with a lot of Moira's damage. It's kind of just trash damage, right? It's not directed towards a person, but a damage boosted Cassidy, he's clicking one person and that person's feeling it. It's directed, it's focused. You kind of see what I'm saying?
I do.
With where you're at right now, this is just a rollout, nothing crazy, but you're not putting enough pressure here. Like, you can't even reach anything. Do you see what I'm saying? So you need to ask yourself, how can I use my survivability right now? How can I abuse Fade? I'm not getting Dove right now. So how can I make myself get Dove? And that's where you need to go. Where can I make myself get Dove? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So where is that from here? From what you see, right? Like not a memorized rollout, but a live time adjustment. How can you take a more aggressive position that may get your fate forced? Where is that?
I feel like if I move to the left, there's a good chance I'm going to be LOSing too hard with the entirety of their team. I could
No, when you
move
say
right.
when you say LOSing, you mean you will not be able to see them, they will not be able to see you?
No, they will be able to see me while I'm crossing.
Oh, I see. This is too naked, too exposed.
Yeah, I'd have
Got
to
it.
use
Okay.
fade in order to get to the left.
Sure. Yes.
Generally, or I could move to the right and maybe go low ground and like walk over to that side and
Yeah.
maybe use orbs there, maybe suck a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this here a lot. You've got it's like you said, a safer transition that won't cost your fade. And you can start to tickle. You can even heal your tank. You can harass. Again, how many supports could hold this position here safely without getting forced out? Or even if they do, they have a fade, right? Maybe Kiriko, maybe Lucio. That's about it. All right. So you're already putting yourself in the select few that have the mobility and survivability to do that. And what that means is you're going to have an easier time pocketing tank. You're going to be able to start dueling this Genji, and that's very helpful. That's what we need you to do. That's what your character is good at. Do you understand? So I want you to not stand here. I want you to use your kit to open your angle and start knocking on this guy, to start tickling here, to start healing here, instead of staying here. Because if we're going to talk about staying here, there are literally 5-6 other supports that would do it better, including Juno, Ana, Bap, Xin, so on, right? Do what your kit allows you to do uniquely, which is not just damage, right? Like, this is fine. Like, this is a good damage orb, right? But anybody would put out this amount of damage from this position. Almost any support. And they would do it more efficiently, too. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is nice and all, but, like, imagine throwing the damage orb and then also getting this Genji out, pocketing this Winston, and so on. Good target priority here. Damage orbs are fine. Okay. So again, we're really trying to exploit who like how aggressive of an angle that I can have so that I can shoot squishies, so that I can take an opportunity to heal people that are playing aggressively, harass, distract, duel, whatever, use my survivability. What can I do that's uniquely Moira? A lot of Moira players, a lot of support players in general don't think about what makes their character unique and so underperform compared to other supports. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. So far the ability usage has been fine. The damage orbs are fine. Now, with where this fight is happening, which is very clearly somewhere here, where's your angle from this position? It's not so clear, but you have time to set it up and think about it. So let's even zoom out a little bit.
I think it would be to the right of the May, like that wall.
Yeah, like here again?
Right. or even on the low ground. I find that the low ground is fine as long as I can fade through the window and
Like
get
here.
back up the high ground. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree. I actually agree. Like, obviously, this Orisa's going to push through, and then you're going to be a real nuisance on this backline or any DPS that tries to take this angle away from you. You see, the thing is like, if a Genji, Reaper, or whatever, starts to push you out, like, that's what you want. Like, that's useful. That's downtime. You're going to fade out, and then you're going to go back and do anything, and he's going to be out of position, right? So he's going to be doing nothing. Like, that's what you're going for. So your instincts are correct here. I 100% agree.
I don't do that because I take too much damage, obviously.
Yeah. Like, I think there's this misconception, like, you don't want to burn your fade. You want to go out of your way to get your fade force if you're playing Moira, but you need to do so in an investment that actually makes sense, right? You don't want to get your fade force because you're standing in the open. You don't want to get your fade force because, oh no, I didn't know they were there, right? You want to get your fade force because I know you're here. I'm choosing to engage with you. I'm going to make you shoot me. I'm going to make you use cooldowns, and then I'm going to fade away. Like, right, it should be a conscious decision to force it. Like right here, you might get your fade force because you're fighting in front of your team, right? That is not good. So like, that's what we don't want to see, right? That was an unearned fade. However, if you'd been a little bit more strategy focused on this, what would you have done here instead? Like, let's say you want to push forward. Okay, so how do you push forward?
I would probably wait 2 seconds.
Just wait 2 seconds, right? You're right. If your team doesn't walk, okay, you don't walk. Fine. But you would wait. And then let's keep going. So I actually like what you're trying to do here in terms of where you're going. You're going to kind of migrate this way. I want you to keep going. If your team had pushed forward, keep going to here. Then get your angle here. Talk about your alt fire damage orb value. If your team pushes forward and you get this angle, Merry Christmas, right? Perfect.
I faded way too early. I didn't need to fade. You're right.
Well, I mean, again, you faded because you got it forced, right? There was a sense of, oh no, I'm a little bit overextended, and so yeah. Okay, there's that burst healing value that we saw. It's fine. I don't hate this position, by the way. Again, this is just a very aggressive angle. Look at where you are, but it's again uniquely Moira, so this is pretty good. Damage orb that. I would just make sure that you're not over-focusing tank here. You know, your damage on armor is just horrible, so just quickly pivot to the Reaper here, get his fade forced. So, let's talk about the perks, because I was wrong about Moira perks the more I've looked into it. I really did not like longer fade, and let me tell you why. I thought it was bad because it took you out of the fight for an extended period of time.
I agree. It does.
Fade should be a quick snap decision that avoids repositions and doesn't do anything more so that you're back engaged. And the verticality, while not always useful, is like free value. You can use it or you don't have to use it. It's up to you. Here's where I could be potentially wrong with that situationally. What I have seen longer fade being used by higher level Moira players is the ability to reposition with fade on angles that are really, really, really crazy. So for example, here, you're choosing your perk, which is why you kind of get a little lost there. You can use this fade with the perk that you just chose to go all the way behind and all the way to high ground.
Yeah, you can. You absolutely, I could have done that.
And that's what you should have done. That's what you should have done, right? It's because, yeah, you're going to get your fade force, but if you back up, then it's just, you can't really see or reach anything, right? And you don't want to fade this way because you're fading towards a threat without fade. It's no good. So you need to kind of fade to an angle or a flank, but you need to do so where there's some cover, somewhere where you're safe, which ironically here is deep. Now, without that fade perk, you would not be able to get here, right? If it's normal fade, you get about here, and then you'd get, I mean, they might catch you, they might see you. But with this fade perk, you can go that far. So what I would do is with this fade perk, be more thoughtful about aggressive shifting of your angle. When you were here, you get forced, like this was the angle that we were talking about. Like let's say you got your fade forced here. You get the long fade for you whoop, 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 all the way to here. And what it does is it really makes it almost impossible to know where you're going with this perk. So you could rapidly change angles in a way that actually almost no other character in the game can do. Sombra can do it fairly well with Translocator, but they can see you when you throw it. With Moira, they don't really know. And it's actually super unique. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then as soon as you possibly can, Yeah, go ahead.
I said I'm not gonna lie, I was a little concerned about the Cassidy and the Mercy.
Yeah, of
And
course. I mean,
that's
it's not
why
a good
I did not
matchup.
play with
Yeah, it's not a good
it.
matchup. So if you've ever watched, again, high level pro Moira versus, I mean, you're talking about grandmaster champion level hit scans, they still do the same thing, but they just give them a lot of respect. They don't really go for the kill, they just go for distraction. So you just save your heal orb if you can, harass, distract, find a good bounce spot, use a lot of cover. If it's a 2v1, if the Moira Cassidy starts, or the Cassidy Mercy, excuse me, starts to look at you, you just kind of play really carefully. So it's good to be scared, but it's not good to basically be afraid to do anything, right? Give them respect that they deserve, but don't AFK in your backline, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And see here, this is your basically you should have died there because you ended up fading back to your own backline instead of fading to a different angle, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It just makes it too easy to kill you. Like that's the irony. It's like you do that, you're gonna die. Like it's not safe. Yeah, this is fine. I mean, it's risky to pop it at the HP that you're at, but yeah, I'm glad that you're just using it. I would definitely have stayed on the BAP there, but you're getting some good cleave here, so that's good. And then here it's just about staying focused and trying to kill a target. You know, don't get too scared and confused. Just stay on the squishy, stay in the squishy, stay in the squishy. Target priority generally doesn't matter in Overwatch for most heroes, but I think for like Moira Winston, it absolutely matters, right? Like Winston really doesn't want to tank trade. Moira really doesn't want to tank trade. Like versus with characters like BAP and Kiriko, like they're not great at shooting tanks, but they're like, it's fine. You know, it's not a problem. They got the weapons for it. For you, you're horrible. So whenever you can, take an angle to where you're not shooting a tank, like whenever possible. Okay. Any questions so far?
No, absolutely. No.
Okay.
You make a lot of sense.
Okay. A little bit more confidence in wider angles, kind of what we're seeing so far. Damage orbs have been fine. Like you're aiming them for backline, no problem there. And then with the perk specifically, if you do get your Fade Force, it is something to consider about changing your angle, not disengaging back to your team. That's something that you do probably without the perk, but especially with the perk. You just really have the freedom to go wherever you want.
Deep in the angle.
Yeah.
So that you
yeah. I mean, it just straight up flip the system. Like you could be, I don't mind this position here. You're kind of off to the side, but like you could be here, right? And then with the Fade perk, if you get your Fade Force here, you could just fade all the way back to here, right? Like it's weird, right? Like normally you're not used to be like characters shouldn't be able to do that. You know, you're kind of breaking what this game is quote unquote supposed to do with that. But yeah, your Life Weaver is dead. Okay.
Oh,
yeah, he's dead.
So I'm definitely okay. That was mechanics.
Yeah, mechanics. I would also say here, just given the fact that you don't really know where we're fighting or what we're doing, you either need to commit to flanking here, or you need to probably burst heal your tank here. So this is actually where I would probably prefer a heal orb, just based off of your position. Whereas if you were here, that would be a damage orb. Do you see the difference? So like heal orb if burst on tank with your position, damage orb if you're not, right? But you wouldn't want a heal orb here, and you wouldn't want a damage orb here. Do you see the difference?
Yeah, and right in front of a diva. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's obviously a micro thing too. But like what I'm saying is, if they were on Ramatch or Malga, it doesn't matter what tank they're on. It doesn't matter what tank you're on. If you see this heal orb, right? Otherwise, damage orb here. So kind of like the fun way of looking at it is like let your position dictate which orb that you use. So like right now, again. I like this angle here, right? But you're a healer now, right? So this should be a heal orb coming out in a second. You see what I'm saying? And there it is, right? That was correct. Now what you could do here, you can get him, or you could flank this way. I'm curious to see what you do. Yeah, just panic. Panic. All right, so let me be honest with you. You be honest with me. Obviously, maybe not in the moment, but do you have an advantage in this fight, or does this freaking suck right now?
We're done.
You're done. Exactly. That's a correct assessment. So what does that encourage you to do?
Get out of there.
Or
go for a pick.
Right.
Go for like
you have nothing to lose, right? Like your assessment is correct. Your Life Weaver's dead. Your Winston's half. You have no space. The BAP took an angle and used an ultimate. You have a Reaper on the flank. I mean, like look at this. Look at the map control they have in you guys, right? Like they've really set this up well. You have to make a play.
Who am I killing? I'm not
Well,
killing
that's
Bastion.
well,
I'm not killing Mercy. I'm not killing
but you,
Diva.
yeah, well, okay, so but you don't know that.
I know what their comp is.
Yeah, yeah. I know you know, but you're looking at this as like I need to do all the killing myself. You don't. You see, what's going to happen? What I'm asking you to do is to go for the BAP, or what I'm asking you to do is to fade in and go for the Mercy. Right? Are you going to kill the Mercy by yourself? No. Are you going to kill the BAP by yourself? No. But what you're going to do is you're going to cause enough chaos to where your Mei is going to accidentally hit an icicle and maybe, or your Winston's going to land and jump and maybe. Right?
Okay.
You're creating an opportunity for somebody else, right? Because there's
I think
nothing. There's. Go ahead.
I think I have a propensity to reset in moments like this.
Well,
And
right.
you're right. Maybe I could be more
Sure.
aggressive.
And I think the concept, though, is that, like, what is a reset? A reset is also dying and catching wave respawn with the rest of your team.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, true.
So it basically, I'm not saying that resetting, like running back to your team or running back to spawn is bad if that's where you are, but I don't think you're in a good position to do that right now, right? So you might as well just go. Basically dying has never been more convenient in Overwatch than it is right now. Like we're talking about, like, what is it, like 6 or 7 second respawns sometimes, right? Like it's crazy. So there's no punishment for dying here. It's a good heal orb. Fade in, get a kill. Like right now, your Winston is actually primaling, right? So this is where you need to be, right? You didn't know that, but you could have known that I needed to kill something here and maybe get lucky with it, right? So. Because ironically, it's like you're talking about resetting and you're just extending this bad phase, right? Like you're just, this is just going to be a long, slow death. Your Mei is dead. Got a trade, that's good. But like that wasn't a reset either, right? That was kind of like somewhere in between. So just confidently trade if you have to. All right, I want to see what angle you take here. She's just inting, okay?
Yep.
Sure. Not normally good to go for tank, but I mean, she's completely trolling, so. Good. Yeah, I mean, it's... Do you see how, like, there was no need for an angle because it just threw their corpses on top of you? Again, Moira likes to... Moira survives, so if they throw themselves at you, you're really good. Like, we even saw... The only time that I've seen recently Moira in pro play was a similar composition, right? Dive stuff, very flat map, very broad map, New Queen Street, right? People were running Moira Kiriko with dive and tracer, right? Even pro players abuse her survivability, right? So, it's not a very common pick, but... Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Let's keep going here. Again, it's just the angle that you're at. Like, was this a damage orb?
It was definitely a damage orb.
Yeah, I just don't love it, right? Like, especially into the Diva, of course, which we talked about, but it's another one of those situations where you're just in a heal position, so it might be okay to just not use an orb for a second and then heal your tank, or, here's another question, could you fade to an aggressive, safe angle here?
Yep, I see. I'm looking right at it. Like, why don't I just fade back there?
Here. Or, you ready for this? Because of the perk, you could fade jump to here. You can get to here. No problem.
I could, yeah.
You could with the perk, yeah.
Diva just went in, or she's
Yeah.
going to go
And if she notices and turns around, you could save your orb, throw your orb away from the Diva, and she would just chase and chase and chase. I don't even think she could kill you even without orb, right? You could just alt fire and keep yourself up until your next fade or orb, right? So my point being is that, like, either you're going to do the tank healing thing for a second and then take an angle, or you're going to actually reposition aggressively using your perk and then throw a damage orb this way, harass this way. That way, that definitely doesn't get eaten, and you get a better bounce too.
Okay.
Yeah. You've got the instincts for it occasionally. It's like, I want you to experiment more consciously. Like, I'm going to specifically, like right now, I'm going to fade in up to corner and then pop coal behind a wall so that I don't die during the cast. I'm going to tank for my team and make my team run through the choke. You don't have to do that, but you could. And if you're not going to, you should be thinking, what angle do I want to take right now? Like right now, with where you're at, where should you be? If you want to fight over here, okay, so what angle should you be on?
I would honestly love it if I was still on the angle all the way around the corner.
Like forward, left, right?
Forward, and then beyond the choke. I would
like
feel
here.
like if I was on the road.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
love it if I was.
Yeah, just kind of sit here quietly. Don't even do anything. Just wait.
For the tank to go by,
Coalescence right here. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's brutal. Like, you're not going to kill anybody, but you could just play with their attention, and then your Winston's going to dive in, and then that Bastion's going to die, right? Yeah, you got it. See, the instincts are there.
I never see it when I do my own VOD reviews, but I see it now.
Yeah, well, that's basically what I'm asking you to do, and this is basically the foundation of, I would say as much as 60-70% of every VOD review I do for every hero, is just ask conceptually, where could you go right now with your hero? And if you ever do your own VOD reviews, just ask yourself that over and over and over again. Conceptually, where could I go for a more aggressive angle or a smarter defensive angle, right? Something to consider. I don't love the Colt because you didn't really have a good angle for it. Let's just be frank. Yeah, then that's basically it. There wasn't enough to see. You just basically saw D.Va, and that was it. So I am very appreciative that you pop Coalescence whenever you have it, and you don't hesitate. That is by far my biggest frustration with support players is they don't press Q. That is not you so far. You press Q, so well done. I like this position as well. Yeah. Yep. Heal orb yourself. You're fine. Another one of those situations where the fade use is wrong, right? So, especially with the perk, what does this fade perk allow you to do? It's to change your angle, right? So instead of just fading out, fade in. You know? Yeah, pivot in this way, right? Well, but you didn't know the Mercy was there, so or maybe you did, but it doesn't matter. It's not about the Mercy. It's not about the target right now. It's about the fact that you were here when you faded, and you're still here. I know your intention was to go out this way, but that's still too easy to track. You need to make them go, wait, where did you go, right? Like, where did you go? Like, you need to commit to something.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I see it, man.
Good heal orb because of where you are. Good fade. Oh, you can kill that Kiriko. All right, so then now it's like you're kind of stacked with your team for right now. So good heal orb, good pocket, good fade. Now starting to think, okay, where's my next angle? Do I want to? Okay, good. Yeah, get her out. Push. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's okay. Good mechanic. I mean, it's good. Unironically, good mechanics as well. Yes. This is what we wanted. Now you're about to get life gripped, but this is exactly what we wanted. If we look at this from like a chessboard perspective, look at where this D.Va commits and where you are, and then look at where you are then afterwards. Like, look at how incredibly like her ankles were shattered.
Yeah.
Right? And you did it behind a corner too. So nobody can kill you here. It's not just, oh, D.Va can't kill me. Nobody can kill me. And you have heal orbs, so you just get yourself back up to full, and then you're cooking. Nicely done. That's what we want to see right there. That's exactly how you use fade. It does mean that you have to know where enemies are, though. Like, you don't want to fade and go, oh, shoot, there's somebody here, right? That mistake might happen. But, you know, that's just part of the learning process and so on. Okay.
Oh, right. I don't know why I was so
Can I be honest? Can I be honest? I bet you do. I bet you sometimes maybe play more aggressively, but not all the time. It is, without exception, the hardest thing to look at yourself in the mirror and to look at yourself in a replay review. Okay. Trust me, I know. I look at myself and I'm like, I thought I played so much better. I didn't know I looked so stupid. So, you know, and the reason why is because in the game, there's always a reason behind what you do, right? Like, even the things that, like, oh, you faded backwards here. Well, I was trying to disengage, right? There's always a reason behind it. The problem is it's not always a good reason. So, okay. What is the, I forget. Is this the burst damage perk?
Yes, that's the burst heal perk.
I think that's yeah, I definitely think that's the best one by far. Let me double check. Enemy Bioxer's first 50 healing. Oh, it's the burst heal. I think I think the fact of 25%, you know, reduced healing, it sounds really good on paper, but if you think about what is your play style, like what does Moira do? It's again goes back to that flanking, angling, harassment. And so when I look at that burst heal, it's just too valuable on yourself. I think it's just too. It's really freaking good on yourself. So, I think
that's a burst. the damage reduction one is a buff to coalescence. So if I throw that orb and
Yes,
then I use coalescence, it makes it harder for
that's really
the
smart. I agree. I agree 100% because you don't need the survivability as much as you do with just normal stuff. So yeah, I actually like that a lot. Shoot, when would you
with
do
the
that
heal
though?
one. I find that. I'm sorry.
I was trying to think
What's that?
like, would it ever be worth it to pick that one? I don't know because it's true though.
If
It's true.
if it's like the end of the round and it's like you just got your perk and it's the last round, King of the
Sure.
Hill,
True.
I
Okay.
will.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
The only detriment I see to the heal one is that if you ever try to set up like on like two walls that are close together and you can bounce the orb and kind of keep like a floating health pack there, it's a nerf to that because it drains so fast.
Oh yeah. True. Actually. True. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
But that's
Yeah, I
the
mean,
only detriment I
yeah, okay. I like your strategy. Then I like your strategy. Like, so then I'm pretty confident in your major perk decision making. You'll choose the right one. The only complaint I had
see.
was again with the minor perk with the fade duration, like using what it gives you. So okay,
Yeah.
angle. Where do you need to be? Okay, so with the power of hindsight here, where should you go?
No, I don't go main. I go right.
Okay, so you go right. So you're gonna go with your tank and May here. This is okay. Where else could you go? Give me another option.
I could definitely go to the left,
You could.
but that's only with knowledge of knowing that the Kiriko and Reaper are over there.
Right. Well, see that's where you're wrong though. So when you take a good angle, you don't need somebody on that angle for it to be valuable. In fact, I work with a lot of tracer players that come to me and they're like bronze, silver, and I coach them the gold or plat. And they come to me and they're like in tears and they're like, Coach, I took all the flanks and I was shooting backline. And now all of a sudden I'm in plat and there's somebody on the angle all the time. There's like another tracer, another reaper. And I'm like, good, fight them. That's how the game goes, right? So you're saying the opposite though. You're like, oh no, there's somebody, there's no, what if there's nobody on the angle? What do I do? Good. If this Reaper Kiriko isn't here, you know what you do? You walk, and then you kill backline from here.
That's fair. That's fair.
You've got 20, what is it, like 20 meters, 15, 20 meters with your alt fire. You got damage herb. Good.
Yeah.
Win the game. If the lane is completely empty, that's good news for you. Like, honestly, like, Reaper's kind of annoying to get rid of his Moira, right? Like, it's not even my favorite matchup. So, you could play your range and damage herb and force fade and tickle him down. It's still a good use of your time, but my point being is that, like, whether a lane is contested or not, it doesn't matter. It's still worth your time. So let's see what you do from here. I don't hate this. You are, kind of working off on a flank using your mobility. This is okay. The problem just kind of comes into the range aspect, right? And this is why you have to choose your angles carefully, because while on paper you can work with a Winston May, May can shoot a long ways, Winston can jump a long ways. We have a problem. So you have to look at the map architecture and you have to go, can I reach anything from here? And the answer is no. Now, the interesting part here is I wonder if you could phage up to the high ground from there with your perk.
Absolutely can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then where would you end up safely? Like, where could you go safely with this fade jump? It's tricky, isn't it?
I would think just like the curve piece, maybe on the outside.
Yeah, I'm thinking so
Kind of
too. Like, kind of here, like end up here with a heal orb, maybe something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree. Like, not in the middle, but kind of off to the side. And again, you have your orb. So if you notice something, this even changes how you use your orb. Like, how aggressively you're angling means that you may not use your orb until you fade, right? So you fade in, and then you have your orb to sustain the angle. But this feels just like this feels horrible, right? Now, thankfully, the Winston knocks him in, but it just feels terrible, right? It just feels awful. Good use of your burst heal. I'll just go back to right clicking now. Yeah, okay. Boom. Okay, good stuff. Damage orb, got her coal. Where could you be here? I'm gonna make you use your fade perk here.
I'm looking right at it.
Yeah. Right here, right?
Yep.
Sit here, let him come in, coalescence, you got it. And you have the perk for this too, so if you fade here, they will not know. They will not know. They can't see it. So, normal fade they would.
I'm asking myself, where would you go? Why would you go there?
Good heal orb. Again, with your position, it's the correct orb to use, and then you're just a little slow with the coal. But I don't even think you're slow with the coal. It was just hard to assess like whether they were committing or not, right? Because last coalescence, it was we kind of committed too early. This one feels like we committed too late, but it was really hard to see whether that was the case or not. Notice I used the term C, right? The problem was the angle. It was not the timing of the coalescence. If you were on this angle here, there would be the easiest coalescence in the history of the universe. There would be no question about the coalescence because of your vision. With where you're at right now, it's too hard to see about how to use coal. Do you see the difference?
You're good, man.
Hey, man, I'm not the Diamond
You're
Moira
good.
player, so
No, you're good. You're good. No.
I mean, again, I want to praise you on like your decisiveness with your coalescences. We're 3 for 3. They've been well timed, at least with the angle that you had. Like with the information that you had, it was well timed. So, oh, huge, nice. We got Valk too. Probably would have heal orbed that just because of what was needed, but it's not the end of the world. Yeah, that's fine. I can just tell you're kind of panicking a little bit here because the last couple of orbs have been kind of messy. Yeah, it's a little sloppy. Just mechanics, you know, just being a little sloppy. Waiting for. I don't know if we're gonna get another reset. Yeah, it's tragic. Okay. Oh boy, this is getting messy.
Oh.
Yeah, this is just a. Like, you could just tell that like what's like. I'm not gonna review this part as much because it's messy, right? You've made some mistakes. Your teammates made some mistakes. You're getting staggered. I can tell you're distracted. Go ahead.
I was yelling at my team at
Yeah,
this
I can
point.
tell. To be honest with you, I can tell that you're yelling at your team because you've died twice to random crap. Right? Because, like, for example, you just freaking died to Reaper. Like, you didn't even know he was there. You had Fade. You damage orbed into a wall and bounced off the other direction. Like, your mechanics and your awareness has gone down the toilet. Right? So I know we kind of talked about it earlier. Like, you know, that's just who you are. But who you are is staggering. So, you know, lock in essentially here. Like, and I say this from a point of a little point of humility here because I may or may not occasionally have the same problem. I think we all do. But you know, okay. Let's see here. How are we going to retake this? Okay, so how are you going to create space for your team right here? You could heal orb through this choke, help your team out of the choke, but I don't think it's necessary. You've got plenty of positional options. Where would you go?
From here, I would probably go to the left,
Yep.
but I'd go like low ground up the
Yep.
stairs
Yep.
into that doorway.
Yep. Yeah.
Either damage or take
Yeah.
from there.
Yep, and just kind of read it from here. Take the damage on the Doomfist, see what he does to you, decide whether you want to heal orb or damage orb. If he gets out, then you can damage orb here, and then open up your angle here. Right, you're creating space. You do that, Doomfist backs up, Mercy backs up. You create a lane for your team to walk forward. That's uniquely Moira, right? There are not many supports that could do this and poke out the Doomfist easily. I can name one, Kiriko, I think. Everything else would have to be a lot more cautious about retaking space, not you. So that's it exactly. That's how you're going to walk out of this choke. So while I like the damage orb, I don't like the fade getting forced because you were a million miles away, and I don't like the lack of an angle. Now, I do like the fact that you faded to an angle, so let's see. Damage orb's good. It's a little off mechanically, but it had the right idea. Fade is fine, just heal orb. Good. Let's walk forward, take some space. Here, just again, just be very cautious about a little too much attention going on to the tank when there's other targets available. Right? Tank is fine if that's the only target, but there's not. It's this guy right here, or even just healing here or damaging here, just because of where you're at. I basically noticed that your target priority is good until fights get chaotic, and then you almost exclusively go for tank. So it's.
And you know why that is?
I mean, I have a guess, but
I find that if I can take the attention of the tank, either forcing a cooldown or forcing them to chase me, that is beneficial to the team for
That's
securing
true.
kills.
That's true. That's true. My problem with that is I'm not so sure that you're lethal enough to force that attention all the time.
No,
And
that's true.
I'm also, so maybe it's a skill check for the tank. That's true. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But I'm also concerned that I'm not always sure that the Doomfist is the most lethal person right now. You see, the reason why tanks are lethal is that initial
Yeah.
burst of damage because they have the survivability to do so. So early in a fight, I would say tanks are the most lethal characters in the game. That's how they're designed, right? They create that
Yeah.
initial. But as the fights evolve, tanks are often the least lethal. Like if you look right now, who am I more scared of? I'm more scared of Kiriko right now than I am of Doomfist because of what she can do. Her DPS is higher, like just straight up. Like that's the only thing that we need to know, right? I'm way more scared of Reaper, right? I'm scared of what Mercy's enabling, and I'm wondering if I can take if even what I'm doing here matters. I do a lot of team coaching sessions, and one of the things we used to talk about was how target priority doesn't matter early in fights, but it matters later in fights. And one of the not shooting tank priorities is in mid-fight if that tank has HP, if that tank has a defensive cooldown, right? Don't shoot the tank. There's exceptions. If this guy was half HP, 1 HP, if the risk is no fortifying, getting burned, sure. It's just not your priority. And this is where, like, right now, you need to get the Reaper's attention, not the Doomfist's attention. That's kind of my priority, because that's the guy that's going to kill people. Okay. But I do see what you're saying, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying that, like, think about it. Experiment a little bit more. Find where you're wrong. Find where you're right. Because you're not, you're not a bronze player, right? Like you can understand nuance and you can learn exceptions to the rule and so on.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, okay, little heal here again. How are you going to help your team retake space? Probably left angle again, but you know what? You could also go right angle. You got the long fade perk. You could get all the way to here in the next 7 seconds, no problem. I know that you're thinking we got to touch, we got to touch, we got to touch. So I think that's probably not the play with the objective progress that we got here. But again, if we were just doing thinking exercises, that would be an option as well. I don't hate the heal orb actually. Building our coal. Find the Kiriko. Force it to reposition.
For the soldier.
Yeah, you got a little lost in the sauce, but you still got value there. So, okay.
I heard the soldier. I knew he was there.
That's fine. It'll work. Good. Let's get forward a little bit. Shoot tank because he's there. Damage orb that Sem.
Yeah, he lost.
That's fine. Heal orb's okay too. Again, I can kind of just tell you're kind of playing catch, right? You're playing catcher right now, where you're kind of sitting in the back and waiting for something bad to go wrong and hope that you can deal with it, right? How can you help your team hold space here? What angle's available to you right now? It's a bit risky, right?
Yeah. I could go underneath the bridge in the back.
Yeah. You sure could. I mean, I might not do anything right away. I might kind of sit and lurk like a Sombra, but you could do that. You could sit here. You could sit here. You could be spamming damage orbs, looking to pull attention this way. Look to duel it. Like this is not like a cheese playstyle, right? Like, this. This is how a top 500 Moira would approach this fight. Because they'd go, I'm not going to get my fade and stuff forced here. Like this is just, my team's going to slowly die to a damage boost its hit scan. So I need to do something here to harass, to distract, to put myself in a position to, honestly, like I would know what a top 500 Moira would do. They'd probably walk here, damage orb, heal here, and fade all the way to here and sit and listen. That's probably what they would do. Because this is a little bit more, you notice that this feels more comfortable to you. Why? Why does this feel better than here? Or here even?
Because of the split and the team's
Yes.
attention.
Yeah, and look at the cover too.
Yeah.
Just feels a little bit more permanent, right, than where you're at right now. Just something to think about. Like you're gonna have to experiment with this a little bit more.
I don't know. I just don't think I had the confidence in my support duo here.
Well, see, that's the problem though. It's like you don't, if you don't have the confidence in your support duo, you're allowing these DPS and supports on the enemy team to be uncontested onto your tank.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? It's like
You have to be, you have to do what you do. You have to do
right.
what you do.
You have to provide the value that your character provides, right? And so what you're doing is you're giving me a bronze Moira excuse. Not quite the same thing of, oh, I can't do damage. I can't use damage or because my team takes too much damage. You know, I mean, you and I both know that's not the case, right? But I get that sometimes, right? And it's like, no, you take so much damage because those guys are allowed to do whatever they want all the time. You never harass, distract, contest them at all. The same logic that you're saying, oh, I right-click tank to pull his attention towards me. A bronze Moira wouldn't understand that. They'd say, oh, no, I need to heal right now because otherwise he's going to kill my team. It's like, no. We need you to pull the attention. Like, a lot of Overwatch is pressure and attention, right? So when you're here, the value is that the Mercy Symmetra are not shooting your team. They're trying to shoot you and missing frequently, right? That's the point. Like, that's what you're trying to do.
I do. I get it. I have 1,400 hours on Wrecking Ball.
Wait. You get that concept, right? Like, people, how many times in Wrecking Ball can we get a shield tank? No, you don't understand what I'm doing for you, you moron. Like, they're not looking at you. You don't need a shield, right? So, like, that's kind of like that. Moira and Wrecking Ball are cut from the same cloth. They're self-sufficient. They're quick. They're unique in how they support, whether it's tank or healer. And they have the mobility and self-sustain to do so. So it's like, that's kind of like, and they're also kind of, they kind of behave like crack addicts when they're playing as well. So, yeah, I mean, seriously, like, that's kind of like what you need to be doing here. It's like the confidence to do things like this in devolved fights. Like right now, I like this because you have cover, because you're on an angle, because you have access to squishies, because your team is fighting here, right? You're still fighting as a team. Now, the question is that more valuable than peeling off the damage boosted Doomfist? And to be honest, yes, it is. You could maybe help here, but you are easily going to be able to kill this soldier from this position. And bam. No, zero chance. And then also heal your tank at the same time. That's Moira right there. That's Moira. That little burst right there. That's Moira. If you get in trouble, long fade, no problem. And shocker, your team was able to deal with the Doomfist. Who would have thought? You have to trust your team to be able to express your own sort of value, right? And I think like that's kind of the key thing here. I think that's one of the things that's lost amongst players in solo queue is that like there's a lot of people that are like, you know, don't trust your team, don't trust your team, don't trust your team. You can't solo queue, play for your own value. And the end result is the same of like, yeah, you want to play for your own value, but actually you do have to trust your team, right? They might not always reward you for it, but the majority of the time they will. You got a few more minutes here? I wouldn't mind finishing off this map if you got time.
I would love if you would.
All right, let's do it. I want to see the victory here. Opening up our angle here. Heal orb's fine. Again here, just like you're going to have to stop the hemorrhage, right? So if damage, you're never going to be able to poke out this Doomfist here, or heal up. So you're going to need to, you know, open here or swing to here and tickle here, or even go for a hard flank. You don't always have to hard flank, but you absolutely can with Moira, especially in a map like Flashpoint. I actually think Moira's really good in Flashpoint. Very broad, very flat, you know, really good. But do you see how, like, it's not working? It's not working. Do you see this? You were vomiting healing. You get a nice healer bounce. You're using your entire heal resource. I think you got about 600 healing there in about 10 seconds. It just doesn't matter. Why? Because look at where your team is positioned, and look what the Symmetra and Doomfist can do. Right? Like, if this Symmetra, if this Mercy, if this Soldier Kiriko don't look away from your team, you will not win. You must pull these resources away from your team at this choke right now. Otherwise, you're not going to win. And especially because you didn't know this, but we have Valk, we have Visor, we have Kitsune. You're not going to win the fight here. You're going to get run over. And you see it, right? Like, this is just horrible. Like, it feels terrible, right? So open up your angle. Create space. Cut off the support to the Doomfist. Cut off the support to the Symmetra. Cut off this. Make them misuse ultimates way over here because they're so busy focusing on you. Yeah, do it. Love it. Good stuff. Good priority with your Cole as well. Little healing and then immediately pivoting over to damage. It's good. Damage orb is fine. Good swap to the Kiriko. Yes. You could not possibly have kept your Diva up there, but you could kill the Kiriko, and you did it. Burst, burst, heal, 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 heal. And then you're going to go back to the Mercy? Good. Can I be honest? Fade in. Don't fade out. You're not going to kill Tactical Visor. You're not going to kill Tactical Visor now. But if you fade in, where would you go?
You could just go behind them, behind the wall.
Just all the way behind him to here. Here, heal orb, and go tickle, tickle, whoop, 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 whoop. Come on, come on, come on, right? Like, that's what we're looking for here, right? Nice. You've done 10 times more in the last 20 seconds than you did in the first 20. Just because as the fight devolved, you started to pick apart the pieces. You healed your Ana, you killed the Kiriko, you harassed the soldier, you faded out, right? Ironically, as the fight became more deathmatchy, you started to play better. Now, what's funny about that is because earlier you panicked. You didn't do as well of it. You kind of shot tank and then died, right? This was actually really good from you. This is a really, really poor start and a really strong finish from you this fight. Well done. And it was all unique Moira stuff, right? Survivability, killing people through sim wall because orbs just go right through it, and burst healing your Ana when she was low, right? That's like the strong. I think it might be the strongest healing per second in the game if you can get it lined up, right? So, but it doesn't last forever. Yeah. I like you damaging here, but again, I just focus on the position first, right? So like I'd probably be like kind of lurking here, right, somewhere around here. This is decent though. This is a nice little angle here. Don't go back, don't go back, don't go back. Hold it here. Hold it here, right? This is... Your diva will not live versus a high charge Zarya. There's nothing you can do outside of kill the Mercy or harass the Mei. That's what you can do. You see what I'm saying? That's what you can do. Because once that heal orb's down, the amount of burst healing that you can do is just not quite enough. Nice orb. You could help your soldier here. Okay, let's see what you do. Toss damage orb, it's good. I do like that your diva's getting in that Zarya's face. She's not playing patty cake. It's good. We'll bounce here. It's more ult charge. Ooh, oh no. Oh, she's in. Alright, you got the fade perk. What do you do?
A fade up to the... I fade into the pavilion.
Yeah.
Where the
right. Right here. You got it. Perfect. Literally perfect. Yep. Do it. Now, I know you won't. I know you won't. Now, I know you're thinking, oh, Lucio touch, but honestly, screw him. Let him touch, you know? Kill the backline, then go deal with point. Yeah. I mean, as messy as this was at times, the reason that you guys even capped this point was off of your efforts, right? Like, that first fight was crucial, and you did exactly what you needed to do. Your instincts are correct. Improve those instincts, right? Continue to train. Okay. What needs to be done better here? What needs to be practiced?
Yeah, I think utilizing the fade perk that I take, usually the long fade, in order to reposition in safe but damage advantageous positions.
Yeah. It's like that 15, 20 meter range with cover on an open angle. Whether that's a flank or just a little bit off to the side, I don't know. Whether that's all the way on backline or just a little 90 degrees here, 90 degrees there, I don't know. That's something that you can practice in the moment, but this needs to be you need to be limit testing this stuff more. Your best moments were when you did that. Your weakest moments are when you didn't. I think once you're on the position, that dictates how you use orb. So we haven't really talked a lot about orb because I don't think we needed to. I think you know how to use orb. I think once you put yourself in the right position, you'll know how to use orb.
Yeah.
Because you'll go, oh crap, they're pushing me, I heal over myself. Or, oh, I just had to fade into their backline, I probably should heal over myself. Or, oh, I'm uncontested, I damage orb, right? Or I'm stuck with my tank, so I'll heal orb, and so on. So, okay. Write that stuff down. And then from that, put it on a sticky note. Make it visible, make it visual. Remind yourself of one of those principles, whether it's the angles or using fade to reposition, and practice it. I think the orbs were fine. The coalescence decisiveness was fine. Nothing beyond that. I think the perks were fine too. So, okay. Any questions?
How close do I look like I could be to, say, Masters? With that play?
It depends on how you're able to like implement this feedback in how you're practicing without making the game a chore, right? Like we talked about like your sleep, we talked about your ranked play, consistency. I don't know. No idea. Go experiment with it, put some
That's
thought into how much you can practice and on work days without getting too tired and frustrated and tilted. And we'll see. And on work days too.
all right.
So not sure.